Hey everybody, welcome back to another superhero showcase for Marvel's Midnight Suns. My name is Christopher Odd and I run the channel by the same name. As always, thanks to Marvel and 2K for partnering on this series. Now, time to get serious. Does the name Weapon X ring a bell? How about the Berserker? Or maybe you know him by the truly terrifying moniker, the Canadian Can Opener. Just joshing, eh? Made that one up to keep you on your toes and make sure it's known that I share my nationality with today's superhero. A man with one of the darker backstories of those we've covered so far. That man is none other than James Logan Howlett, or as you probably know him, Wolverine.
You got one thing right today, Sabretooth. Heads are definitely about to roll.
You may have some assumptions about Wolverine's playstyle, and you might be right about some of them, but to clarify, he is focused on using his adamantium claws to chain damage between multiple targets. He'll taunt enemies, and most importantly, he's got a nice little self-healing mechanic, but there's a twist in there. More on that later. Like other superheroes with chaining, he makes for a fantastic recipient of combat items and other buffs that he can use during his chains for max efficiency. And squads with Wolverine are really going to benefit from somebody who deals high single-target damage, but Wolverine does have a few cards with a mechanic we haven't covered yet called Full Combo. Let's get into that first. The first attack we're going to explore is one of Logan's chain attacks called Lethal Pounce. Now, obviously, hitting multiple targets with one card is great. But you know what's really great? Options. What if instead of using your chain to hit multiple enemies, you really just wanted to punish one of them? Full Combo's got your back. If you choose to use all of Lethal Pounce's attacks on a single target, then you're going to gain Strengthened, which boosts your damage by 50%. Pretty solid opener, if you ask me. If you decide it's better to take out multiple minions, that's also a job well done in my book. All in all, this card's a solid staple for a Wolverine deck, and the upgrades will grant even more damage. If you see on screen here, one of the late game mods can add Weak to your enemies. If you got something like that, you may want to share the love and ignore Full Combo. Just depends on the scenario. Again, options are nice. Now, in the intro, I mentioned that Wolverine can self-heal with a twist. Well, if you spend enough time with him in the Abbey, you'll be able to unlock and upgrade his passive called Healing Factor. Just be careful when you're hugging him, or actually just be careful around him at all times. The claws aren't toys, I'm serious. At level 1, his passive is going to trigger every time you use Redraw on a Wolverine card, and that's going to grant you some health. At level 2, it's going to grant even more health, which keeps him alive significantly longer. Starts to feel truly unkillable. And speaking of that, the twist. In Midnight Suns, you get 1 or 2 revives every fight, depending on different factors like combat items, etc. Well, Wolverine, he doesn't go down easy. And if he does, he's not staying down for long. If Wolverine does go down, you'll immediately draw the Rapid Regeneration card, which allows you to revive him. But hopefully you've been planning ahead, because you're going to need 2 heroism for it. And although the card doesn't use up a card play, you're only going to get this card once per combat, so don't get too comfortable out there. In the Dark Phoenix saga, Wolverine once said, "Okay, suckers, I'm taking your best shot. Now it's my turn." I feel like this perfectly sums up Wolverine's whole vibe. He's an angry tank, but without block. Instead, enter Rapid Healing. It's not just a heal, it's got another twist. Of course, playing Rapid Healing will restore 50% health to Logan, but it will also cure him of any other negative status effects. Well, what's the twist here? Remember, Wolverine doesn't go down easy. So even when he's incapacitated or unable to act, he can still play this card, which normally would not be the case. That's insane. Oh, we're not done. It can also be upgraded to replenish 75% of his health. Oh, and it can gain +1 redraw as a potential late game mod. Oh, and it generates heroism. Yeah, it's pretty good. Speaking of heroism, notice how most of his abilities have really low heroism cost? Let's hear your thought in the comments about who would pair well with Wolverine and take advantage of that heroism build-up, based on what we know so far. Now, wait a second. Do you guys smell that? No? It smells like one of my favorite skills in all of Marvel's Midnight Suns. That's right. Stink of Fear is here. Besides having quite literally the best animation in the game, the actual gameplay implication smells beautiful too. Stink of Fear will taunt every enemy in an area and grants Wolverine counter. You get a claw. You get a claw. Everybody gets a claw. On upgrade, you'll be applying Weak to every enemy you targeted, And one of the potential late game mods could grant your squad an extra move on the turn. I just want to play the animation for you one more time. Okay, I'm done. Okay, for real. Now, we talked earlier about Wolverine not using a lot of heroism. And while that mostly holds up, Logan's Midnight Sun's heroic ability is the exception to that rule. Midnight Special scales with how much heroism you have when you play it. When played, all heroism is going to be consumed, and you'll see Wolverine damage random enemies. How many times enemies are damaged is determined by the amount of heroism that you spend. And as he continues attacking, he continuously does higher amounts of damage. The upgrade for this is great too, because you'll be able to refund heroism for each knockout. And one of the late game mods can even add weak. There's a lot of great situational uses for this, but pick your timing wisely, because this card will be exhausted when played, as we've seen with other extremely powerful cards. So that's our Canadian on the squad, and I'm proud to say he's representing us really well. Keep it up, Logan. Wolverine will make for a great addition to many squads. I think he's going to be a fan favorite, to be honest. Thanks again for watching these videos, everyone. If you're not subscribed to the Marvel's Midnight Suns channel or my own, what are you waiting for? You don't want Logan to be angry, do you? We've got a lot more content to show you between now and the release of Marvel's Midnight Suns. It's been an absolute pleasure showcasing Wolverine today. My name is Christopher Odd, and before wrapping up, I want to thank Marvel and 2K for working with me on this series. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep those claws sharp, and we'll see you in the next one.